Do you believe enough? Are you brave enough? Are you ready to make the leap, to take part, to be part of the future? Many say it's coming, but some know it's already here.
What is up, everyone? It's Kristian again with Iceyyy Gaming, and we're here today to see if Web3 Gaming is actually here. What are the best projects of 2023 so far? What are we looking forward to in 2024? What gaming projects are doing things like $1 million prize pool for Web3 Gaming? I mean, so much going on in the space right now. I am super excited. And we're going to hit on some very special alpha at the end of the show with one of the venture capital firms that I think you guys probably know about that's investing a ton of money right now into Web3 gaming projects. But before we get started, Iceyyy Games, how are you, my man?
I'm doing so great, Kristian. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm super excited to be here and chat with you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get into this show. I know that we had a great conversation last week on Sergeant Filthy McNasty's podcast, The Candor Gander. If you guys missed that, go back and take a look. We got a chance to talk about tons and tons of stuff with Styx Intern, Sergeant Filthy McNasty, myself, and Iceyyy. And there's just so much more to talk about. I mean, there are tons and tons of developments that have happened. Not only that, I mean, Bitcoin has pumped 12% in the last 24 hours. So we're talking about lots of really amazing things that have come up. And I'm super stoked to get into this. So without further ado, let's hop right into who you are and what's going on. Obviously, you've got an amazing Twitter following. For those of you who haven't checked it out, you can go to Iceyyy 3 Ys, as we learned on the last _gaming. Got tons of great information in there. Web3 content creator, launching your newsletter again with over 2,000 people on there, which is super cool as well. And I know that one of the things we're going to hit on is play to own, right? 100 million. I mean, it's not 100 million, excuse me, 1 million.
one day.
Yeah, $1 million prize pool, guys. We're going to show you how to get involved with that, you know, how you can get in and register for this $1 million prize pool. This is going to be super cool. If you haven't already too, Icey's YouTube channel is Web3 Gamer with a 3. So go out there, take a look at it. Got tons of information, great videos. I know that you just sent the one out in treasure hunting. I saw that from, today or yesterday, whenever that one was released. That was cool. So awesome there as well. And then we'll also go into what other gaming titans in the space like CryptoStash say are going to be their top picks in 2024. He's already released 25 top crypto gaming tokens that he thinks are going to pump in 2024. But with that, what is going on right now with Game League?
Yeah, happy to chat about that, Kristian. So that is an initiative put together from owned.gg. It starts on November 13th. So you've got a couple weeks to go and pre-register. You can go pre-register on owned.gg. And this is the brainchild of the guys from Iceyyy Gaming. This is a platform that they've been building for almost 2 years now, and they're launching. They're debuting their platform. This is their coming out party, and they're coming out with Game League. It's going to be about a month-long tournament series where there's $1 million in prize pool prizes. So there are cash prizes, but of course, a lot of that is like some NFT assets and digital assets donated from some of the game partners. There's over 85 game partners involved. There's going to be a Fortnite tournament, a Dota tournament, a CS2 tournament, and then a bunch of Web3 games as well. And players are going to progress through each tournament or opt into whatever they want. And depending on their ranking and depending on how many quests they complete and how many tournaments they play, they're going to level up and earn XP points basically throughout the entire game league. that at the end of it, they can redeem for their loot box prize pool, and the tier that they level up to will determine the quality of their loot box, where they'll get a whole bunch of goodies, whole bunch of prizes. It's free to enter. There's no catch. You can come play these games for free, sign up on the website, and win some cool stuff. This is their initiative, or our initiative. I'm helping them out and working with them to try to bridge the gap a little bit between traditional gamers and Web3 games, and try and bring and onboard some new people into the space. They've got some crazy partners that they'll be announcing over the next few days and over the next coming weeks that truly will hopefully bring tens of thousands. I don't want to get too optimistic, but they've got some big targets for their player base there. So it's really exciting.
That's great. Yeah, I can see that, there's a ton going on. I mean, some of these are really cool, and the pre-register button is right there, so you guys can go out there and register. Here's some of the games that are going to be there from, like you said, Fortnite, Dota 2, a lot of these really cool games, Spider Tanks, the Gala game. You got Stash right up there in front, and it's just, the tons and tons of things that are going on. Look at that. Play games you love, get loot. $1 million prize pool. That's not anything to, scoff about. I think that's got a lot of potential. And you're right. If we can bring a couple of thousand extra people into these games and be able to play, learn what Web3 games are all about and what's going on, it's just going to benefit the entire ecosystem. This is super cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you some. I don't know if it's alpha, Kristian, but really our target minimum is like 30,000 new gamers. Like, we're trying to onboard 30,000 new people into Web3, and not so much like onboard them so they're here to stay, but like introduce them with like a friendly handshake, being like, hey, you love Fortnite, you love Dota 2, awesome, compete, maybe win some money, win some prizes, but also you might want to check out Metalcore, you might want to check out Spider Tanks, you might want to check out Parallel. So yeah, it's really exciting. We're building up to it, and can't wait, man. November 13th.
That is super cool. Well, one of the games that's really come onto my roadmap here, it's actually been on the roadmap for a couple of years, but one of the games that I'm super excited about is Illuvium, and they always release amazing trailers. I wanted to play this trailer really quick, and then we can hop into our top 5 picks. Illuvium happens to be, of course, in my top 5, but I thought this was a really cool way to open it. If you guys haven't seen some of the content that's going on Illuvium right now, please make sure to check it out, and we'll come back right after this. So super cool. I mean, these trailers continue to get better and better. I don't know if the games are actually going to live up to the actual trailers themselves, but I mean, I get excited every time I watch a new trailer that pops out for Star Atlas or Illuvium or any of the top quality AAA games that we have that are coming onto the the ecosystem here at some point in the future. But I thought that would lead us into a great transition to see Stash's top games for 2024. As you can see up there on the top of his S list, he's got Immutable X, Illuvium, and Unity. I don't know how much you know about those 3, but are you familiar with those projects?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Okay.
The last one, I think just a smidge, but definitely immutable and alluvium for sure. And a little bit of a leak for you, Kristian. I can't say too much because I signed an NDA, but I got a little sneak peek at alluvium's PvP behind the scenes, and all I will say is that I'm very excited.
Nice, nice. That's super cool. I know that everybody that's got these little bit of peaks here and there has been so excited about it. And when we get to the very end and get a chance to see what some of Framework Ventures' top, investments are, you'll see what's at the very top. And yeah, without any doubt, guys, it's alluvium. So, everybody's looking forward to this project coming out. There's so much going on behind the scenes with some of these larger projects. I'm super excited about it. And alluvium happens to be my number 3, but why don't we start at number 5, top 5? If you want to go with your number 5 for 2023, are there any of the ones that are on Stash's list, or is this something new?
So are we talking about gaming tokens? Because he's looking at tokens here. Are we talking about games?
We're talking about games. So I think that what I'd like to do is get into the actual games themselves, and then we can talk about the tokens at the end, because we can go through a little bit of the market caps and what these tokens are at and if they've gone up or down. I also too wanted to go through some of the past performances of some of these games like Axie Infinity and others, so that people can see if they have questions like, okay, what was the market cap? What is the market cap now? And what are these current tokens doing? I know that Stash has gone through some of the ones that don't have a game associated with them. They're ecosystem projects, or they're blockchain projects. But for the most part, we want to go through what's going to be fun to play, or what have you been playing in 2023?
Yeah. So my 5th top game, and it was really tough to try to order these. Some of them are easier to rank than others, but number 5 I've got coming in Metalcore. Have you paid attention to Metalcore at all?
No, I haven't seen Metalcore. What's that all about?
Okay, Metalcore is being developed by 369 Studios. They're game developer veterans. They've developed some other games, and they've got a studio and they work with other studios to develop their games. This is set to be. I think they're gonna have battles of up to 50 versus 50. It's set in this dystopian world, and they're mech battles, and it's really designed to be a land domination, territorial battle type of game. But they've got all these different kind of mechs and machines that you can operate and jump in, and the map is absolutely massive. The graphics are gorgeous. It's by far one of my favorite games to track and follow. They work with Immutable. They were at NFT NYC and 3XP with these massive displays and booths where you could jump in and try the game out. The introductory tutorial kind of quest is really, really good, but they also have this open world that you can just run around forever in. They've got dinosaurs running around. It's wild.
Nice. That sounds amazing. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play that. Is it an alpha? Is it out? I mean, what's
it is in the, I think, closed beta. I think I always, there so many of these terms: private beta, open alpha, all these things, right? But it's invite only right now. I can definitely get someone an access code if they're looking to play it. It's quite the download. I think it's 40 gigs or something like that.
Wow.
But it's an incredible game, and they're gearing up for some awesome stuff soon.
That's great. Yeah, we definitely want to try that. So make sure that you hit Iceyyy up if you want to get into that. I wanted to go into one that you might not have heard about, and it's one that's been on my radar for a really long time. I actually bought my first NFT about a year and a half ago. It's called Heroes of Mavia. It's almost exactly the same as Clash of Clans. You familiar with Clash of Clans?
Of course.
So you've got your base. It's basically a base builder. It's in closed beta right now, and you can see it's extremely similar. It's basically a build it and protect your base and be able to hopefully keep other competitors out from stealing your resources. You've got your your oil, and you've got your gold, and you've got your troops and your heroes. You've got your sniper towers. You've got your mortars and things to keep your enemies away. And then you've got your recruits that are all lined up so you can go and raid other people's bases. Super cool, super fun. I've been playing the beta now for about 3 months, and they're getting into the full global release. They just got approved in the App Store about a week ago. and you can see that they're, you know, it's pretty polished. I mean, they've got almost everything going on from your, you know, your base right here, your headquarters, and to, you know, all of the different resources, the walls, the troops themselves. You know, you've got Marines, you've got people that shoot sniper rifles, you've got your barbarian type of guys that are out there just hand-to-hand combat, and then you've got your rocket launchers. And so, you know, it's a really cool, fun concept. I mean, I loved playing Clash of Clans. I played it for about 4 years nonstop. And then I was so bummed when I ended up, you know, just figuring out that it was taking up 4 or 5 hours of every day of my life, that I was like, okay, I need to get into something. And the nice thing about Heroes of Mavia is that you get NFT land. So when you're building on it, when you're getting heroes, when you're doing other things, they become assets that you can sell for Ruby and then be able to cash that in for other things, or sell it for ETH or exit the game anytime you want. But that was the part that excited me about it. Now there's actually here, I'm like, okay, this is cool, but it's kind of under the radar. I mean, have you even seen anything about it recently?
Yeah. Heroes of Mavia is one of the games that always kind of pops up on the radar. People talk about it. I never dove in. But yeah, I've always heard about it. It's one of those in the zeitgeist for sure.
Yeah. So this was like something that I think can be pretty cool. I'll keep you guys advised as we get into it a little bit more. But yeah, I was just super excited that finally we've got something to play after all this time, because all I'd been doing was staking my land and, you know, hoping that it would go up in value. Of course, nothing went up in value over the bear market. But, you know, I'm just thinking like, okay, at some point, hopefully this will be worth, you know, what I paid for it, if not more. And at that point, you know, hopefully we'll be able to break even and get back some of the money that we put into it.
Yeah, we're all in the same boat, huh?
Definitely. And then I'm excited too about Gala Games' new release of Legacy. It's just out today. I know Classy was doing a little bit about it. I have some rare land inside the game itself. It's a business building game. It's kind of an interesting concept. I don't know how well it'll do or you know, a whole lot about it. Right now, the release for the landowners was yesterday, or actually today. And then the actual global release is going to be on Thursday coming up. So 2 days from now. But yeah, it's a really cool concept about, you know, building businesses inside of the, you know, the legacy metaverse. And it's just, you know, create these businesses that run, and if they run really well, you get, you know, sales from them, and you can profit, and you can turn that into Gala tokens. And, you know, it's just it's an interesting concept. Again, it's one of those things where once I get into it, I get a chance to start playing, I guess we'll figure out if it's a winner or not. But yeah, are you excited about anything Gala wise or anything in that ecosystem?
I'm a big fan of a lot of what Gala does. I think the teams over there are really sharp. I've been playing their poker app recently. So they partnered with Poker Go, which is one of the biggest entities in the poker world, and they collaborated on a Web3 game called Poker Go Play. So pokergoplay.com. And it's really smooth. It's a free to play poker game, but the way that it works, there's some like play to earn type elements where the better that you do and the more quests and challenges that you can complete, it just passed right there. The more you can like redeem or reward. I don't exactly know. I think you might have to like have an NFT skin, which I'm not like deploying any capital right now into a lot of these games, but I'll play them. I'll play them for fun. So that one's really fun. Spider Tanks is always really cool. Superior, I like. Oh, I got to play the play test for Last Expedition. Man, is Last Expedition a lot of fun. That's going to be an incredible game when that comes out. I think that one's got a lot of depth, a lot of replayability. Yeah, so I've gotten to play it twice now, and I've had so much fun every time I played it. But I like a lot of what Gala does.
Definitely. I mean, Gala is building a ton of different gaming projects out there, and you know, from Champions Arena to, you know, the Town Star people that go out there and love the Farmville type of, you know, I'm gonna go build my best farm.
Rebranded to Common Ground now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. They're trying to get away from that Town Star name. I think it's got a bit of a negative stigma, so it's Common Ground.
It definitely has a bad stigma. I mean, I bought I think an $800 water tower NFT when I first got into it. So yeah, it wasn't the best investment, to say the least, but neither has been any of the NFT projects for as much as I'm concerned. But anyway, what else is on your top 5 list?
Yeah. So number 4, I've got the Bornless. Are you familiar with the Bornless?
I've heard. I haven't seen it though.
Okay. So these two, I think the first, those 4 and 5 are not so accessible or playable.
Mhm.
But you can play them. You just have to jump through a few hoops. So the Bornless is an incredible battle royale, and it's set in like this horror uh um like demon. There's a demon that's like will chase you around the map. That's really fun, and it's a 2v2, or no, you're in teams of 2. I think it's up to like 4 or 5 teams, something like that. And the map is like super dark and scary, and you're running around and you can't see anything, and like every time you turn you're afraid that something's going to pop out or someone's going to shoot you. But the gameplay is really, really smooth. It's built in Unreal Engine 5.
Okay.
They were actually nominated for best trailer at my award show last year. They released a new trailer this year, which I think is top quality as well. It's a smaller team, but what they're able to do with their small team is incredible. The game is a lot of fun. I cannot wait for it to be more widely available. I think that they just got listed on Steam for like wish list. Like you can wish list it right now on Steam.
Okay.
Um, yeah, super incredible graphics, really unique kind of style game. And then it's a battle royale too. So it's like, there's a lot of replayability there, a lot of depth. Every time I played it, it's been like 10, 15-minute game cycles, which like really draws you in, gets you into that immersive feel. Yeah, there's a lot going for that game. So I'm looking forward to it. And, it's October, so it's a good time for that style of game.
Definitely. And so it's born Borne.
Yeah, Bornless. So Bornless. It's the
Okay.
Bornless game. Yeah.
The Bornless game.
Yeah, right there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Definitely have to check that
This is
out.
one to watch, man. They're kind of a sleeper. They're kind of a sleeper, like I said, because they got that smaller team. But what they've done, and the things that they're doing with their game are just super impressive. I mean, you see that quality, like this stuff is wild. I mean, those are trailers, but that's gameplay right there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
That is
no
so
joke.
amazing. I mean, the Unreal Engine stuff is just absolutely nuts. I mean, a lot of it's just as same quality as regular, film shot, and it's
Yeah,
just amazing to see. I mean, some of this stuff is just absolutely incredible.
yeah. Yeah, what I like about them is that they're innovating on the typical genre of battle royales, right? They've got these villains, these bosses that run around the map and add an extra twist into what would normally be a battle royale, where you got to fight off this demon, or I think the demons is called Oribus, but then they've got those other ones, like got like this big spider guy that will chase you down. So there's a lot of like fun aspects to it. Honestly, it's very scary. There's a lot of scary aspects to it, but that's what you want in a game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, where you're definitely bringing the heat on. I mean, where do you typically find these newer projects like Bornless? I mean, where would you come across something like this?
So I look for some of those more immersive games that like I like FPSs. I played a lot of Call of Duty. I'm looking for a game that I can really sink my teeth in. Besides like the poker stuff, which is like more casual and hyper casual and stuff like that. I want something that I can really be drawn in, that I think is going to appeal to a lot of the mainstream, like traditional gamers that aren't necessarily going to be interested in a lot of our click to earn type of games. So I don't know, Christian. I just pay attention to the space. I had a weekly news recap show that I would do, and we made it a point to feature like 6 or 7 new game trailers.
Hmm.
And I remember when this one popped up last year, and it was like all the rage because it was so high quality. And it's just been on my radar ever since. But like I said, they're one of the teams. Shout out to Josh from the who does BD for them. They were at GDC, NFT NYC, 3XP, like all of the events, hitting the, pounding the pavement, trying to make it work. So they're out there at the events.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good to see these. I mean, that's one of the things, guys, that we always mention just about on every stream, is that when you're out there at the different conventions, at the different conferences, talking to the developers, talking to the gameplay, it's a different experience, and you get a chance to see some of this stuff up front. I mean, the born list is something that I wasn't on my radar at all, but I'm glad that you brought this up, because these games that are built, especially on, Unity and Unreal Engine, are just amazing to see. And the gameplay just looks like it's going to be really cool. So I'm awesome. I'm excited about it. What stage is this one in right now?
Yeah, so I think it's early access. It's like closed, probably whatever beta. They've done a few different maps and they've done like a few different modes. So they're constantly building, but it's not available. But they did get listed onto Steam. I think it was like one of the most popular games on Steam for like wish list and new categories and new titles and whatnot. And that was like in all of Steam, not even Web3 type of games. So it's not accessible right now, but you can get access, and they host events. It looks like they're going to be doing something for Halloween, of course. So, hey, great opportunity to try and get in if you see this in the next few days.
Definitely. This one looks great. All right, cool. What's up next for you?
Okay, switching it a little bit. So top 3, and this is a big, big crown in my opinion to be like a top 3 game. But in my opinion, I have to give it to STG Football. If you go to their Twitter, I think it's probably STG maybe underscore football. They are on Epic Games. Yep, right there. Yeah. They're on Epic Games. They're coming to Steam. They have the official NFLPA license to license the actual NFL players and stuff like that. It's a fully fledged game. It's fully available. You can go download it right now and play the game. If you ever played NFL Blitz as a kid, it like really reminds you of NFL Blitz. It's a lot of fun. It's 4v4. They have proximity chat with your team, so you can get in there, you can meet new people, you can build friendships, you can go play a game. Games will last 10 to 15 minutes, and they incorporate the NFT side of it in packs. So you can see right there, you can buy their packs where you can open them up. They are their their NFL players with better stats, right? So there's a little bit of the pay to win aspect in this game, but like the packs are fairly priced and everything's transparent. So I really like and respect that approach, because they got to make money, right? It is a business.
Right.
But there's a lot in the game that is skill based. So they try to balance it as much as possible, where you're not just like getting overrun by someone who has, better cards than you because they spent a whole bunch of money. There is a bit of that fairness in the game.
Wow. Okay. That's super cool. I mean, I wasn't even aware of this one either. I'd seen NFL Rivals and, one of the other Web3 games that was out there. And this one just looks like it's got a ton of potential as well. So I'm excited about man, there's a ton of stuff that's coming up. Another Halloween event. Imagine that.
Yeah. The gameplay is super smooth, Kristian. I'm a gameplay person, man. I don't want to be coming on here and, recommending some of these games that then people go and look at or play and they're like, what is this? Like you gotta show people traditional gamers a game that like they would like. And I think any of the 3 games that we've talked about so far, people would look at and be like, oh, that looks cool. That looks fun. Like, without any of the crypto stuff, not knowing anything about that, it's like, it looks like a good game. I could see myself playing it.
Yeah, when you've got Devonte Adams up there, I mean, obviously a good person to have when it comes to anything, especially if it's a Web3 asset. So yeah, this is super cool.
The other thing that I'll say real quick, Kristian, I'm sorry to cut you off, but the other thing that I really look at, I've mentioned it a few times talking about the other games, is I look for a quality team. And this team knows what they're doing. They're industry veterans, professionals. I mean, they pay a lot of money for that NFL license, right? They actually, I had an opportunity. I've worked with them. I've done work. I've worked with all these games. I know all these games. So, disclaimer, I'm probably a shill, whatever. But like, I'm just talking about gameplay, right? I don't talk about, hey, go buy this, go buy that. I talk about games. I'm a Web3 gamer. So with that out of the way, they actually gave me an opportunity to interview a professional football player. I got to talk to Jordan Fuller. They did this whole series where they had like 9 NFL players come on and play the game and interview with like some of their community members. So I talked to Jordan Fuller, who is a Super Bowl champion. Like, he has a Super Bowl champion ring. Like, for a Web3 game to be doing things like that, investing that kind of money into marketing and providing those kind of opportunities to their community and people in the ecosystem is just like, I mean, that's incredible. Never in a million years did I think I'd be interviewing a Super Bowl champion.
That's
You know?
amazing. Yeah, definitely. That's super cool. I know that what didn't Doug Hype win the poker tournament that you put on?
Yeah. Doug won. I sent him $500. It's gonna buy a lot of cake.
Exactly. He's the cake man right now, but he'd done a Packers parody,
Yes.
and that was so cool. And I know that a lot of the Packers players actually retweeted it and gave it some love, and he got a ton of people talking and reaching out to him from that. I was just like, dude, you've got the entire NFLPA now just on your DM list. That's super cool.
Well, yeah. So I was able to organize a creator tournament for STG football. How many? We had like 14, 15 creators create teams of 4. They competed over $5,000, again, put on by STG football. Doug was one of them. He participated in it. And then afterwards, he interviewed one of the football players as well on his channel. So, I mean, yeah, Doug got into the STG ecosystem and had a lot of fun and did a bunch of cool stuff there. And shout out to Doug. We love you, Doug. You're amazing.
Yeah, Dougie, love you, big guy. Um, this looks super cool too. I mean, I love all these games. You're bringing the good ones. One of the things that
What
just
I'm here
kind
for.
of brought out is that I've been in partnership talks now with another company, Trade Escrow, that allows people to trade back and forth anything, any ERC 27, 21, 11, 55 tokens. Play the short clip right now. Be right back for the last top 2 after this. Have you been trading digital assets by the old adage, first you send me yours and then I'll send you mine? Well, you can stop that practice immediately and start using TradeEscrow.io, a fully 100% audited smart contract that gets your trades executed flawlessly. Now you can be certain when you make a trade, you get exactly what you want and the other person is happy too. Check out TradeEscrow.io. So yeah, was just going through and looking for some really good development work that we've been putting on, especially when it comes to DFK, which by far and away is my #1 gaming project. I know that you've been getting some information on it as well, especially after coming on the channel last week with Sargent and on the Candor Gander. And I think that you had a chance to talk to Bolon, who's here in the chat with us today as well. I had a chance to have
Hey.
him on the show last night. And what do you think about DFK? Is that one make your top 5?
It's not on my top 5 right now, but yes, I did talk to Bolon, and I was really impressed with the level of depth and quality that I saw in DFK. I had no idea. I said to him that, like, you know, it makes sense now because you guys have a raving community and a lot of fans, and DFK has been in the zeitgeist ever since I got into the space. It was definitely one of those games that was really popular and people talked a lot about. And now I see why. I was really impressed with like the map, the world, the crypto integrations. I mean, they call it DeFi Kingdoms for a reason, and you guys are living up to that. I got a little sneak peek into some of the PvE stuff that's going on, so that seems really exciting. And then, yeah, really cool stuff that you guys got going on. It brought me, like, even that just brings me back to RuneScape. Gave me like very true, but like authentic RuneScape vibes, not a game that's like trying to rip off RuneScape, right? Where it's like, oh, we're going to be the Web3 RuneScape. Like, it really showed a level of care and authenticity of like, hey, we want to do something special. So I love talking to Bolon. I think we might have had like a 20-minute call scheduled, and I think we went an hour and 20 minutes. Our Google call like ended, and we had to start a new one. I was so interested and enthralled with everything that I was finding out. So really cool stuff you guys got going on over there.
Thanks. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, we've been in the community now since middle of 2021, and it's just it's been such a really cool work in progress to see things come into play. I love all RPGs. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was in elementary school back in the day, and it's just like really cool to see something built on the blockchain with every single item inside the game available and tradable and everything else. So that was what really kind of drew me in, is just the potential of having a game where every asset's owned by the player, and you can trade it with anybody at any time. You can cash out, you can go, you can do what you want, and I was just super excited about that. But yeah, this has been one of my favorites of 2023, 2022, and obviously 2021 when it skyrocketed. But What are your top two?
Yeah. So, oh man, which one do I go? Which one do I? I'm been debating this whole time. My one and two. Um, I think I got to go number two. I'm gonna call it officially. Big Time. Big
Okay.
Time has kind of been a little bit of the rage this past week or the past 2 weeks. They launched their economy. I did a sponsored video for them. So again, I've worked with a lot of these games. I'm sorry, guys. Like I'm in this space. I'm trying to work with these games. I got to make my money back somehow, Kristian. Um, but no, I covered Big Time before I ever got paid for it, because I truly enjoyed the game. And it was the first game in Web3 that like showed me what a really good game could be using the blockchain elements. So yeah, I think it's number two. It's one of those games that's fully playable. It is in private beta or something, or pre-season access. So you do need an invite code to get in and play it. And they're still, testing things before, the open beta launch. But man, so much of the game is built out. And what I love about this, and DeFi Kingdoms has a little bit of this too, like with the story and the lore and all of it being interconnected, is the story of Big Time and the world and the universe that you're in. Basically, the universe is collapsing, and you time travel throughout all these different dungeons to try and save the last the last space that's still intact, which is Time's End. And it's cool because they have their own personal metaverses, which like you can open up this little portal and it takes you into your metaverse, right? But it makes sense because you're a time traveler, and that's why you see dinosaurs with the Egyptian pyramids, and then you're fighting like a mech machine from the future. It's like it's all intertwined with the actual story. And they, when you dig into it and they tell you about like why they designed it that way, it's like they wanted to do something new. And like, where do you go when everything's been done? And it's like, well, why don't we time travel through everything and combine it all? So they've done that in a really unique way. The gameplay is smooth, solid, good. You can grind dungeons with your friends for hours and hours and hours. They've got a cosmetic based economy. So similar to like CS2, Counter-Strike, if anyone's familiar, one of the most popular games for the past 20 years. Counter-Strike skins sell for tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars every other day, breaking records and stuff like that. Why? Just for no other reason than they look cool and they're rare in the game. And that's exactly what Big Time is doing with their economy. Now, they do have some like paid NFTs and land that you can get into, so you can friggin', mint the NFTs and earn their tokens and all those, good crypto things. But like, if you're not interested in any of that, you can just play the game and have fun. Again, I'm a gameplay guy. So I always start with that. And that's what I'm interested in and like the most about Big Time.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, I've been seeing like all of the gameplay go on, and it's just it looks super amazing, and it's all the buzz right now when it comes to Web3 games, and I just think that it's got a ton of potential. If it lives up to that, I mean, fantastic. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Illuvium, but more on that RPG type of level, where Illuvium is more futuristic. Yeah. Super cool. All right. Let's jump into number one then. What is the top gaming pick for you for 2023?
Are you going your 3 and 2, or are we just gonna jump into mine? I'm happy to go either way.
Well, I had one that I was going to pop in. It's the last one, and
Okay.
that's my top pick. My number one was basically Antu was really DeFi Kingdoms for a couple of different reasons, but I'm also too working on a couple of projects which I'm really excited about. But when it comes to gameplay, I think that you've come up with some gems here that I wasn't even aware of. So I'm really interested to hear what you think is your favorite game right now. If Big Time's number two.
Yeah. I gotta go Dead Drop.
Okay.
Dead Drop by Midnight Society. This is Dr. Disrespect's game. If you go to search 12 a.m., it's
Okay.
12 a.m. is the studio. It's at 12 a.m. That should pop up. Yeah, right there. So you're familiar with Dr. Disrespect. Who isn't, right? So this is a vertical extraction shooter. they just had a massive event in Las Vegas during the same week as TwitchCon. You can see the footage right there. Crypto Stash is actually there. He was right next to Dr. Disrespect and Z Laner playing. Shout out to Mary Reynolds. This is their snapshot 7. Stash is right on the other side of Z Laner right there. And it's a great shooter, man. It's just a great shooter. It's Dr. Disrespect, so you're going to get a ton of eyeballs and attention on this. I mean, the quality of this event is massive. Like, look at this video. This is a Web3 game. This is a blockchain enabled game right now, and they're hosting events in the HyperX Arena in Las Vegas. Like in 2023, that's just, it makes me so happy. It makes me so excited. I think that they're doing so many things right from a game development perspective, but also from like they're true to the crypto side of it as well. So funny thing, you can get access right now through a driver key, and you can get like a custom license plate, which will, eventually will probably be an NFT on your car. And one of the names, they've got like loot box openings. One of the names was, or one of the license plates said "touch grass," which is just like a fun nod to our ecosystem. One of their zones in the game is called cold storage.
Oh, cool.
So it's like they've got all these nods to crypto, but then the branding, the marketing, the rollout, everything is just so top notch, high quality. It's like what you want to see from a professional, well-established, well-funded game development studio. Is just so impressive, and I'm really excited for what this game is going to do.
That is so cool. So this was an actual tournament in Vegas, and they were actually playing the game, and it was it's fully working now, because I didn't think that any of these games were fully released to the public, kind of out there and ready to go.
Yeah, so again, with the crypto ethos where they're building in public and they're building with the community, Dead Drop has been revealing their snapshots ever since, I think I've been in since like maybe snapshot 5 or 4, where you've been able to play these early stages of the game where, I mean, the first one that I got into, it might have been even 3. I think I've been in since snapshot 3. The game wasn't even textured. It looked like that. It looked like all the maps and everything looked untextured, didn't look good. It was really in its raw state. But every snapshot, 4, 5, 6, and now 7, they've kind of released with these like bigger events with the community and made it a lot of fun, and gotten all that feedback in real time. So it is still like very early stage development being worked on. But yeah, you can play, you can get, anybody can get access right now through that driver key, which is really, really cool. It's like $10, at most $20 to get into an early stage game. And with Snapshot 7, they released like the driving cars. So actually, when you start the game, you get in your car and you race to the building basically that you will then end up playing in, and you got to scale up to the top of the building to be able to extract from either a helicopter or the final lift. And you gotta survive and kill your way to the top, and as you go you collect the loot, and there's rare loot and all that stuff. So these are obviously going to be NFTs that have different rarities. And if you know anything about like Escape from Tarkov, which is an extraction shooter, it's one of those games where there's going to be the case where someone like finds, I don't know, something worth $10,000 or something like that. Dr. Disrespect tweeted out, imagine someone finding $100,000 item and trying to extract with it and then getting hunted down and losing it. Like, the clips and the virality of this game is going to be off the charts.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go out there and play right after this. I mean, this is one of those things where I was waiting for you to come up with the game that I really needed to go out there and start playing. And, if it's only going to be $10 to get into the, the beta access pretty much, or the private access, then I'm all for that. This looks really sick. Yeah.
Yeah. Their marketing is top notch, man. Like, just even like the little trailers that they've released have been so good. It just like, they're in a class of their own, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't expect anything less from Dr. Disrespect, one of the most popular streamers in the world, massive celebrity beyond gaming, but certainly in gaming as well.
Yeah, this is super cool. All right, that is awesome. Well, I wanted to do a little bit of alpha drop here towards the end, and one of the things I wanted to bring up was the old Axie Infinity chart, because I think that when people think of Web3 games, this is what they think of, right? You can see that basically started in 2018, got to 2021. I think we all remember that. All of a sudden, boom, the sales just absolutely catapulted all the way through the beginning of 2022 and then flatlined, man. But I went through their revenues and I thought that this was really interesting. So it goes through their monthly sales. And I thought this was super cool because this is a lot of where Web3 gaming is right now. You can see when they started off in March of 2018, you got about a little bit over $16,000 worth of sales. And then as you go through 2018, you can see that it's a bear market. 2019, pretty much the same. 2019, God, it's horrible. Look at October of 2019, $10,000. Look at September, $5,000. I mean, their average sale was like $5. Absolutely horrible. But then all of a sudden, along comes 2020, guys, and you start to see what goes on in 2020. The beginning, not so great. Middle, okay. Towards the end, looking good. Look at this, February 2020. Yeah. Oh my God. August of 2021, $869 million in sales. The average sale being $468. I mean, that is absolutely nuts to me. And that's kind of the emphasis that I think we're all waiting on. These games have so much potential. I mean, right now, Iceyyy just went through one of the really high-class AAA games where I'm looking at it going like, wow, if this Axie Infinity, which was, pretty much the torchbearer for all Web3 games back in 2021 was, it was what it was. I mean, it was basically the way to get people into Web3 games. It was play to earn, but we saw what it can do. I mean, just imagine when, you've got games that are doing $1 billion in sales per month. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I know that you were around back when Axie was hitting its heyday, right? When you did you see what went on? Were you actually a player at all in Axie? I bought a couple of Axies. I tried them out myself. I thought this game sucks, and I sold them off way too early. But I thought, wow, if this is how people make money playing Web3 games, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's a funny story. I won't go too far into it, but I didn't get into the Axie Infinity game. I had a friend who was like an investor, like a very early investor into Axie, and he did extremely well. And he was telling us about it in like our private alpha group, and he's like, guys, check it out. So I did end up buying like one of the Origin Axies, and I made a little bit on it. Nowhere near as much as like, this whole run and everything. But by and large, I missed a lot of the Axie stuff because I wasn't in crypto gaming at the time. When I bought my Axie, it was like part of the DeFi stuff. I was just like doing all the DeFi things. So yeah, I kind of missed that wave. I think it was a good thing that I missed the wave because I've come in with like, without the rose-colored glasses and just kind of, been building through the bear market. I mean, if you go back up to that chart, man, I mean, that looks like the McDonald's logo, if you ask me. It was like,
isn't that nuts? I mean, they started building in 2018 and nothing happened until, can you imagine for 3 years, you've got an Axie and you're sitting there and it's $1 and you're like, I'm going to sell it in the, the middle of 2021. I'm getting out of this. It's just a boring game. And then all of a sudden, Jesus Christ, it just went up to $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 per Axie. I mean, absolutely crazy.
Insane. Yeah. So I got into things through the Ice Poker ecosystem, and I feel like I had a mini Axie experience through that one because it almost tracked 1-to-1 the whole rise and fall, like where, some of these NFTs were going for $4,000 or $5,000 because you could make, $100 a day and all that craziness. So I got my, I paid my dues through Ice Poker for sure.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of things that I wish I didn't buy that I ended up buying that I was like, man, I don't know why you FOMO in when the market hits its peak, but I remember when Axie was at $20 and I was like, it can't go past $20. Then it went to 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. And I was like, oh my God, this is craziness. Yeah, absolutely nuts.
For sure.
Anyway, I wanted to do one last.
It's time to drop some alpha.
We're going to do a little deep dive, guys, into Framework Ventures. If you don't know what Framework Ventures is, it's co-founded by Vance Spencer. Vance is one of the guys that I follow on Twitter all the time. Amazing influencer, just a great person in the space. He was at Permissionless, and he's a really cool entrepreneur and VC when it comes to everything crypto. I mean, they invested in DeFi. Now they're into gaming a lot, but I highly recommend, if you don't, follow Vance and get some information. The cool thing is if you don't know anything about gaming, is that these guys do the work for you, and you can go through their portfolio and you can get a pretty good idea on what's going on inside of Web3, and especially inside of Web3 gaming. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, their number one holding, I believe right now, is Illuvium. They just invested another $10 million in another round, and they're getting ready to come, it's getting ready to be released here. So I was super excited about that. But take a look at some of these projects. I mean, you might not recognize these logos, but you can click on any of them and you can get into their portfolio and you can see what these gaming projects are. I went and took a look at some of them, and then you can see some of the big names too that they've invested in: Optimism, Chainlink, some of the big OGs in the space. These are really cool ways where you can hack the system if you don't know much about what's going on, or you don't want to do the research yourself. They've already done it for you. I mean, they've invested their money, their time, their hard work into all of these things. So I actually think that what's coming up in 2024 might be something that's not even on anybody's radar. It might be something like this Infinity Gods. I mean, it could be something that's just, a blockchain game that is being built, or a blockchain ecosystem that's coming out that nobody even knows about. But these are the things that are really cool, and they're starting to get built. And I think that we'll start to see more of these come into the space, where there's, these role-playing games that are right now getting founded and getting funded and are actually starting to build out, and they're coming up with some really cool games. So I'm excited about some of this stuff. But is there anything right now that excites you about 2024 that you're like, hey, this is my top tier list? If I fell asleep right now at the end of 2023 and I woke up in 2025, I really want to be holding this one particular NFT or this one particular gaming project.
Yeah, man. Great question, Kristian. The one game that's not on my list because it's not out yet, but is coming out extremely soon, is Shrapnel. Shrapnel won most anticipated game last year at my award show and the Polka Starter Games award show. They've been building for 2 years now. This is another extraction shooter, but the graphics just look so incredible. Another game studio that is really impressive with their teasers and behind the scenes and marketing and rollout and just everything. It just looks so good. And I really think that like this extraction shooter type battle royale where you land in the game, they've got these Sigma storms that come down and the map changes and things blow up and you got to collect the Sigma. Sigma is like this rare resource in this world that is coming from like this meteor that like hit the moon or something like that, and the moon is falling apart. That's like the logo and whatnot. And these rare meteorites, it's like really valuable in the world, and the skins look so good. And oh my goodness, there's just so much about this game that is so exciting. I actually did get to play test it at GDC for like 5 minutes, and it was really good. I was really impressed. And they're like, this is so early for our game. I was like, this is early? Like, this looked better than the dead drop test the first time that I played it. So, and that was what, 7 months ago. So I can only imagine what their early access game is going to be. They've got their extraction packs that you can go purchase now, which are going to be, the high level skins in the game. Listen, not financial advice. I don't know anything about NFTs or tokens. All I've done is lose money in the space. But as a gamer, this is something that I cannot wait for, because this is one of the games that I think can truly bring us to that mainstream appeal, bring people into the game and show them the wonders of blockchain and what true digital asset ownership can be, with a great game that you're going to know and love, even if you don't care about the blockchain stuff, but you do own your assets on chain, and you can trade them and do all sorts of stuff with them if you want. So I'm really excited about this game. It's definitely the game to have on your list. Keep an eye on. They're going to be coming out with some more stuff soon, so really excited for that one.
Yeah, this was the one that was highlighted, guys, at 3XP2, excuse me, on the big board, right? Ava Labs, AVAX Gaming was showcasing a few projects, Shrapnel being one of them. I mean, they were one of the big bad boys that was there on the huge, it's like probably a 40-foot screen that they had there at the show. And I remember looking at this going like, wow, this is super cool. I didn't get a chance to see them. I don't know if they had a chance to demo the entire game, but the trailer looked good enough. And I was so impressed. I was like, wow, this is gonna really bring a lot of attention to, Avalanche Gaming for, first off, which I was excited about because, DFK is one of the big Avalanche subnets out there, but, it'll get a lot more gamers into the space as well. So I was super, super excited to see this game getting built and all the other huge Web3 games that are getting built out there as well. It's a really cool time right now inside of the space. With that said, I'll let you end the show. Is there any place that you want to send people? Anything that you want them to know about you? What's going on in Icey's life for the next couple of weeks here?
Yeah, so we're just gearing up for Game League. So come check that out. But follow me on Twitter. I live on Twitter. I have a social media addiction. I'm always down to connect, comment, follow. We can chat. But yeah, thank you so much, Kristian, for bringing me on. It was a real pleasure. And Game League starts on November 13th. And hit me up on Twitter.
Awesome. If you or someone you know is developing a Web3 project and would like to come on the show, please leave a comment down below or direct message me on Twitter. We can set up a time and talk about your project and how you're changing the world and allowing people to own their own digital assets on the blockchain. Until next time, here's another video that I'm sure you're going to love, and let's all help build a more decentralized world together. Thanks for watching.